Hey there, this is Quad Gamer 13 and we're going to do a little review of Madden Social 13, the free Madden football game offering from EA Sports. It's a very excellent offering in my opinion. It's essentially the Madden football series offered for free in a turn-based offering. And by turn-based, what I mean is you get an opportunity to play an offensive series versus your opponent, and once you've played your offensive series, you send it off to your opponent, and they then play their offensive series and send it back to you, and you continue doing that until the game is completed. So in essence, you don't ever really play defense effectively. The AI in the application plays it for you based on the strength of your defense versus whatever your opponent is throwing at you. So as you can see, this is the intro screen, the main splash screen. Across the top you have the team that you've chosen to play with. As you can see, I've chosen the Raiders. The number 7 that you can see next to it with the countdown is the energy that you have. You get 10 energy drives within an hour that you can use up. As you can see, every time you use one up, it begins to count down to adding the next one to that. So it will count back up after you've used them up. Once you've used them up, though, you're kind of stuck until you get the next one back, unless you decide you want to purchase more energy, which obviously involves spending some money, which we're trying not to do here because this is a free offering. Next to that is the rating, 85 for my current team, the Raiders. You should note that you do not start with a high rating. You always start with a rather low rating in the 60s, which is a base team with base skilled players. All the players are very low rated, so you need to upgrade them through the auction, which you can see lower at the lower part of the screen, which we'll look at in another video separately. The level is your experience level. As you play more and win more and score more points, your experience level goes up. As your experience level goes up, you get more opportunity to access more plays in your playbook, and you accumulate coins which allow you to bid on things in auction. Directly to the right there with the 55226, you can see how many coins I currently have. These are the coins, as I said, you can buy players with in the auction. To the right of that, with the little envelope and the 5 over it, is the message center. You get a notification every time it's your turn to play your offensive series, or if you get challenged to a new game, or the update on the game if your opponent scored, as well as some chat that you can do back and forth versus your opponent. And in the main section of the screen there, you can see it says play now and whatever game is currently ready to play. As you can see, I have a few going. If I swipe through, you'll see there's a few that I have to play. Just below it is the listing of your team rated 85, which if you click on, as you can see, it will kick you into the screen which shows your players. I will come back to this in a moment, but to go back to the main screen, just on the right, it shows your friend activity. The friend activity is when you're playing a certain player, it will show you what their level is, as well as it will show you other friends that you can invite to play versus through the Facebook interface. The great thing about this game is if you don't have a lot of friends on Facebook or a lot of friends that like football, the create a game function can allow you to randomly search other people who have this application and will automatically create a challenge for you versus another opponent in a similar skill level. So let's hop into the play screen and take a look at that. If we go into the play screen, as you can see, I've just got a notification that I won a game there at the top. I'll just close that for the time being. And as you can see, I got another achievement. Since it's mentioning achievements, I'll mention that now. Pretty much for everything you do in the game, you get rewarded for achievements, whether you've rushed for 100 yards, whether you've passed for 100 yards, whether your total accumulation for yards is now over 1,000, whether you've posted an auction, won an auction, challenged a friend a certain amount of times. You get all kinds of achievements that allow you to earn extra points and experience to essentially boost your team. So down the left you can see create a game. Create a game is excellent, as I was telling you. When you click create a game, it gives you the opportunity to challenge some of your friends. As you can see, I have a couple friends there, or I can click the top one and that'll allow me to show the listing of my Facebook friends, and I can specifically find a friend and challenge them, and if they don't have the application, they can add it and then play. But at the bottom is the find a game. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you don't have a lot of friends that play and you want to find more friends, click the find a game play button and it will automatically start searching for a new opponent. You can see at the top left now it says searching. So now it's looking for a new opponent that it wants me to play, and it's going to be someone similarly matched to me that I can play, and it's just anyone out there, and it doesn't have to be somebody you know. So that's a really great function if you really want to get your fix in. On the left thing below the create a game, it shows all the games that you're currently playing, as well as the games that it's waiting for, that it's your opponent's turn. And then below that it will show you the games that you've completed, whether you've won or lost, and you can, as you can see, I've clicked on this one and it'll show you what the score was, and you have the opportunity to click a rematch if you want to play that opponent again. Sometimes you get an opponent whose gameplay you don't very much enjoy, so you may not want to play them again, but if you find somebody you really like playing against, definitely it's a great option to be able to click rematch and just have another game playing versus them. So we're going to hop back to the home screen here for a second by clicking the little house at the bottom, and I'll show you the manage section. Manage is where you have all of your team players listed. Now this is a card-based game, and what I mean by card-based is if we click on a player here, all the attributes on the back of the card is essentially what allows the skill for your particular player. Now obviously this is similar to the Madden game in that you want players with better attributes. The key thing about this is because it's turn-based, for your defense you really want to stock up on players with the best attributes you can find, because you don't get an opportunity to actively play defense in real time, so it's just the AI, the artificial intelligence, using the ratings of your player to combat whatever your opponent is doing on offense that is going to determine how well your defense plays. So if you neglect, say for example, picking up a good cornerback or a good safety, you can bet darn well that your opponent is probably going to long bomb over your head all day long and rack up huge points. Similarly, if you get a guy that likes to run, you're going to want to have a defense that has a good offensive line. As you can see on the screen, here's my defense. So for example, if we take a cornerback here, you'll want to flip the card by swiping your finger across the screen. You can see on the back, particularly for the cornerback, it talks about their speed of running, their man coverage skills, their zone coverage skills, and awareness. For each different player, you get the different skills that are important, such as a defensive lineman, which is this fellow here. You're going to want, it's going to go off his strength, his tackling ability, his awareness, things that are more focused on that. Similarly, if we jump over to offense, if you're looking at a quarterback, obviously you're going to want someone that has a good throwing ability and a good throwing accuracy. You're going to want someone who's aware of the pocket rush. You may want someone who's got some good speed if you're a guy who likes to take off with the quarterback running, so you may want to pick up a Michael Vick or an RG3. I'm not a particular running kind of guy, so I'm happy to sit in the pocket and pass, which is why I wasn't worried about the speed of Carson Palmer here, and I was more worried about getting the strong throwing power and accuracy, though despite my accuracy could be a little bit better. So I got to look for a better card for there. So what you want to do is, when you come into these screens, you want to always be checking to see who you can upgrade. And then you want to go into your auctions and you want to try to buy players, either by bidding or buying them outright. And the great thing about this is when you have a player that has a higher rating sitting on a bench, you can see my halfback is flashing. Now, I have a fullback. If we go in there, down here, I can drag this fullback and put him up there. Now this is great because it allows me to switch, but it allows me to also know that I have somebody else on the bench that I have to upgrade in case I didn't remember to add him to my listing. So I could switch him there and then go back, but the reason I'm using a halfback in this section here is if we look at the truck ability, his truck ability is 95. That's very high. So I wanted that for short yardage to be able to run over some defensive linemen. The other fullback doesn't have as good a truck ability. I believe it's about in the 60s. So what you want to do is you also want to focus on players who you can flex. If you look at the screen here, you have the ability for your slot receiver and your fullback to flex. So you could put different receivers in that slot package. You could put a tight end in that slot package for your fullback. You can put either a halfback or a fullback. We'll just hop to the defense. You can get a quick look at the defensive layout, and you also have special teams. Special teams is your kicker, punter, kick returner, and your punt returner. So you're going to want to get guys who have a lot of speed, for the returns, and you're going to want to have good kickers because obviously you want to be able to kick in some good field goals and punt it away and kick off deep whenever you have to do that. If we go back to the main screen, we'll just show you the other options here. Shop is an ability to purchase things. This is where you're actually going to spend some of your money to buy card packs or to buy more energy or to buy more coinage and essentially upgrade your team. It kind of defeats the purpose of being free, but it does allow you the opportunity to upgrade quicker if you want to spend a little money to upgrade your team. I personally don't like doing that just because what's the point in spending money on something that's free? If you play it enough, you're going to upgrade, and it's kind of the fun challenge of playing enough and getting better at it and accumulating the points to upgrade as you want. You can see there's card packs, there's play packs, which gives you more plays in your playbook. Your playbook is limited when you first start. As you get more experience and you level up, it gives you access to more plays, and the more plays you play, the more you'll get further on down the line. Energy, as I mentioned earlier, is the energy that you have to play a certain amount of drives. You can purchase more drives, obviously, but again, we don't want to spend money. Auction is the auction house where you can purchase more better players. I will show you that in a second video coming up, and the intricacies of that and some tips. And as you can see also along the bottom, it has help and about, which is obvious, and the little gear in the bottom right allows you to deal with the settings. The settings are nice depending on whether you're a righty or lefty. You can switch the controls in the control and video audio options. You can switch which team you're playing. I like the Raiders. You can switch mid-season or whatever. You have the help section that tells you how to play. So that's kind of a base introduction to this game. I'll come back in a later video with a little bit of tips and showing you how to do the auction and sort of the strategies that I use to try to accumulate a better team quicker. And I'll also put up a short little gameplay video to show you some of the interface of the actual game and how it works. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like it, subscribe to my channel, pass the video along to some friends if you like, and please come back and check out my other videos. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them, and any other videos you want to see, please let me know. I'll be happy to make them.